From Markieff and Marcus Morris switching places to cover for each other, to the Spurs breaking the air cooling system on purpose before a game, here are the biggest conspiracy theories about the NBA, starting with the time these twins pulled a switcheroo. Markieff and Marcus Morris were the only set of identical twins to play in the NBA. They were chosen back-to-back in the 2011 NBA Draft, and both played power forward, averaging around the same points per game. Now, one strange conspiracy theory says that one of the twins used to act like the other. The theory goes that Markieff only played 11 minutes for the Washington Wizards in 2017. He badly sprained his foot when defender Al Horford tripped him up as he went for a shot. But Morris came back to play for the Wizards 2 nights later and scored 16 points without showing any signs of pain. It looked like Markieff Morris didn't even play in that game. Instead, people believe that it was his twin brother Marcus that played in his place. Talk about being a supportive sibling. And if you thought this theory was wild, this next player took to the internet to share his. A tweet by Dikembe Mutombo was supposed to show that draft lotteries were fixed. He was one of the best and most famous players in the NBA.
Ref gets the booze. He has been the villain physically of the Sonics. And Mutombo comes over to swat it away. Kendall Gill, Mutombo again takes care of that one, and the first standing ovation.
In May 2016, when Mutombo was retired and working as an NBA Global Ambassador, he tweeted a picture of himself and 76ers partner Allen Iverson from his playing days, with the message congratulating him for being the first pick. The Philadelphia 76ers did win that year's NBA draft, but the problem is that Mutombo sent out that tweet before the winners were chosen. People started saying that the NBA had fixed the draft to favor Philadelphia, even though Philadelphia had the best chance of getting the first pick because they had the worst record in the regular season in 2015-16. Mutombo said that his tweet didn't do anything wrong or sneaky. He said that the team had reached out to him and asked him to tweet that, but he did it a few seconds before it was officially announced. That doesn't sound like a crime if you ask me, but this next theory does. Some people think that the NBA uses magnetic rims to make certain results happen. It was possibly the most exciting thing to happen in the NBA playoffs. The Philadelphia 76ers and the Toronto Raptors played a crucial 7th game in the Eastern Conference semifinals. With seconds left, the score was tied at 90. Toronto's Kawhi Leonard got the ball and drove in for a mid-range jump shot. Before the buzzer went off, the Raptors shot the ball. It hit the rim high and then bounced off several more times before going in. This gave the Raptors the win and a spot in the Eastern Conference Finals.
You got to be aware of the inbounder here if you're Philly.
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger?
It was such a cinematic, dramatic finish, combined with the weirdness of the ball bouncing so much and for so long, that some conspiracy-minded watchers thought that could have only come about through careful staging and the use of diabolical technology. Days after this win, people started posting about magnets being hidden in the ball, and the rim worked together to make the shot go in. Some people even claimed that the NBA regularly controls games and determines their result through embedded magnets in the equipment. Of course, a physics professor quickly dismissed this idea and confirmed that the ball bouncing made perfect sense. Speaking of, here's another theory about a controlled outcome. People believe that the 2020 bubble teams were handpicked to juice TV ratings. After the 2019-20 season was abruptly canceled in March 2020 because of the spread of the COVID-19 virus, the NBA got back together months later and decided to play the rest of the regular season. The playoffs were done in lockdown or a bubble. Teams and staff would only be allowed to go to Disney World in Florida. Not every NBA team could go, though, so only 9 teams from the Eastern Conference and 13 teams from the Western Conference made the cut. The NBA didn't want to have more people than they needed, so they only asked the teams that were still in the running for one of the 8 playoff spots in each conference. The 10th-placed New Orleans Pelicans in the West got to go. They were led by highly touted youngster Zion Williamson, who was the #1 pick in the draft out of Duke, and is a big deal for his thunderous dunks and quick moves on the court.
It's over. Pels. No. Get it done. And on the spin and the first. The slam by Zion.
Everyone talked about a theory that said the bubble structure had little to do with making the playoffs. And it was wild. The theory said that the NBA wanted to draw more attention to its bubble project, and as a result, get more people to watch it on TV. So it made sure to come up with a format that would get the famous Williamson into the spotlight as much as possible. Of course, it was hard to believe. The league even confirmed that the rookie had nothing to do with anything, and that it just wanted good teams to join, and games to be played in a safe place. Now, TV ratings still don't get people as mad as a chance that the draft might be rigged. You see, people were convinced that the 2012 draft lottery was rigged to appease New Orleans. Apparently, in 2010, the NBA saved the financially failing New Orleans Hornets by buying the team for $300 million and making it a league ward. The NBA gave it to Tom Benson, who's in business. Apparently, Benson had a deal to keep the team in New Orleans for at least 12 years. But the sale hadn't been finalized yet when the order and draw for the 2012 NBA draft were set. The rumors continued when the Hornets had only the fourth best chance of getting the number one pick, but they won the draft lottery. This meant that the NBA gave the team it owned the best pick. People believe it was used to get Kentucky superstar Anthony Davis. Right away, executives from other teams cried foul. They said there was a plot in the NBA front office to make the Hornets more valuable and get the Benson era started early, so you can only imagine what happened next. Now, most theories so far have been about rigging or cheating, but this next one's insane if true. Some people think that in the 2014 NBA Finals, the Spurs did their best to hurt LeBron James. In 2014, the San Antonio Spurs beat the Miami Heat to win the NBA Finals. This was the opposite of what happened in the championship round of the previous season. The Spurs won the series 4-1. They set the tone by beating the Heat by 15 points in the first game, which LeBron James had to leave early because he had a cramp in his thigh. The cramp started because of dehydration after it got really hot in the building.
It is stifling just to sit and watch. Again, fans all game long have been waving their programs, and James can't even put any pressure on it.
And it wasn't just him who fell flat. Other Heat players were also sure that the Spurs were trying to smoke them out of the game. James got IV fluids during the game and changed into a new non-sweat drenched uniform at halftime. Later, it was revealed that the air cooling system at the AT&T Center in San Antonio was broken. Some fans who believe in conspiracy theories think that Spurs coach Greg Popovich deliberately broke the system. Why? Well, to make James so sick and uncomfortable that he couldn't put up the big numbers he usually did, and giving the game an edge to the Spurs. But it's crazy if you think how even several winning Spurs players said it was hard to play in the hot weather. Having said that, that's all for the biggest conspiracy theories about the NBA.